Welcome back. All right, so we had 6 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and some surprising results, and really some impressive games in here as well. As the scoring wasn't really that high tonight, it looked like for Colorado and Winnipeg it might be, and then it wasn't really. So we're going to start things off looking at Buffalo and Florida. It was Anderson versus Bobrovsky. Craig Anderson turning back the clock in this one. Zone time for the Sabres, no shots. However, 5.5 minutes in, they do lead in shots, 4-2. Pressed by the Sabres at 6 minutes, Florida gets a power play. Montour has a shot that's saved, the rebound's cleared. Okposo has a clear then that ends the penalty kill. Joe's denied on a 2-on-1 right after. We get some pushing there. We get a power play for the Sabres. Okposo has a rush chance that's held. That power play is killed off. Then there's a press by the Panthers in the final minute, but it's scoreless after one. Second period. Middlestad has a rush chance that saved. The Panthers have a brief press at 2 minutes. They're not really setting things up at this point. And then Skinner scores from Thompson and Dahlin at 3:51. The Panthers would then look to answer. Peterka has a rush chance that's held. The Sabres score. It's an offside challenge, and yes, no goal. We then had another power play for the Sabres. They score on this one. It's Alex Tuck from Power and Thompson at 8:44. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 not long after. The shots are 6 apiece at 8.5 minutes. Just 2 of those 6 shots have gone in for Buffalo. Sabres breaking up rushes for the Panthers. Power play for Florida. That's killed off. 1:50 left. The Florida Panthers go back to the power play, and that's killed off as well. So we go to the third period. Those final 10 seconds killed off, obviously. Verhaeghe has a net feed, then this picked off. The Panthers with the early edge. Lomberg, Kentberry won in close. The shots on net are 3-0 for the Panthers at 3.5 minutes, but they don't break through until 8:24 into the period, where Verhaeghe wires one short side. Duclair and Lusterinen with the assist. So Duclair in his return gets on the board with an assist. Sabres had one shot to the 6 for the Panthers. So this again, it feels like they're sitting back a little bit too much. Think along the lines of Calgary against Vegas last night. But they did do better than that on some level. They get more shots than Calgary did, but they allowed way more. So Krebs to Thompson on a rush. There's a near miss there. Middlestad has a shot that deflects out. Sabres would press, and they would score. It is Skinner with his 600th career point. Thompson with the assist at 10:36. Anderson then denies Tkachuk. He denied a lot of players in that period. Goalie pull with 3 minutes left. Montour blocked 2 empty netters. Those don't count as saves. Panthers press. Dahlin clears it out. 1:18 left. The Panthers call a timeout. Duclair has a shot that's saved. There's more pressure. And then an empty net goal is buried after the horn, and that just makes Tkachuk lose it. So we were this close to a real brawl, but it doesn't happen. As Rob Ray said, not a glove hit the ice. So the final score is 3-1. The Sabres, 30-23-4. They have tied the Florida Panthers. They're in that mix now for the last playoff spot. Florida 29-26-6, and they do not have games in hand on Buffalo either. Shots in this one, 14-11 Buffalo in the first, 16-9 Florida in the second, 25-12 Florida in the third. Final shots, 52-35 for Florida. Power plays, Buffalo 1 for 2, Florida 0 for 3. The hits, 24-22 Buffalo. Craig Anderson, 51 saves on 52 shots. Ridiculous. And Bobrovsky saves 32 out of 35 at the other end. So Bobrovsky had a decent game, but Anderson was playing out of his mind. All right. Next up, Minnesota and Toronto. So this is an interesting one. This ended up being a very Minnesota-dictated kind of game, but Toronto weathers it. So it's Gustafsson versus Samsonov. There's a post for Spurgeon early. The shots are 2-1 Wild, 3 minutes in. Riley then has a shot that's held. Pressed by the Leafs at 6 minutes. Hartman to Kaprizov, near miss there. Leafs block as the Wild press. Marner fires one high or wide on a faceoff win, and then Duhaime banks one in, and it sticks behind the post at the back of the net there. So it's like a magic trick. Duhaime with his second goal in as many games. Goudreau with the assist at 12 minutes and 10 seconds. And the Wild came into this one 21-5-3 if they score first. But Toronto answers. It's Camp from Nylander and Giordano at 16:07. He buries that one in close. Nylander actually behind the net. They're all that. And again, Nylander behind the net. It feels like we're seeing a lot of those passes right now where a guy gets behind the net, throws it out front, and it's buried on a one-timer. So Gretzky, be proud of what we're seeing from players right now. The Leafs then press for the lead. More pressure by them in the final minute. Engvall fires one wide. The Wild would clear it out. After the first period, it's 1-1. Second period, shots are 4-3 for the Wild at 5 minutes. O'Reilly has a net feed. That's picked off. There's a power play for the Leafs. Minnesota kills that off. Pressed by the Wild, they're kept to the outside. Kerfoot then had a rush chance that was defended. The Leafs had pressed with 8.5 minutes left. There's a stretch pass to Kaprizov that will not connect. Samsonov then denied Kaprizov. The Wild would press after that, and then Dumba blasts one wide. But after 2 periods, it is still a 1-1 tie. So I think Minnesota was quite happy after 40 minutes. Third period, good back and forth 2 minutes into this. The shots are 1 apiece at 3.5 minutes. Boldy has a rush chance that was defended. Hartman then had a net feed that was blocked. Hall to Marner, that pass is picked off. Goudreau is denied and close. The Leafs press at 9.5 minutes. Timmins had a shot that deflects wide. Marner has a shot kicked aside. The Wild get pinned down. The Leafs get a change in, but that they would survive that. The Wild would survive. Tavares then has a chance in close that's stolen away from him. The shots are only 4-2 for the Wild with 7.5 minutes left. Power play for the Leafs, that's killed off. 3:42 left. The Wild get a power play, that's killed off. 3 shots during that power play for the Wild. And we're going to overtime. The Wild came into this one 3-2 in the overtime. The Leafs 5-7. The Wild have been to a shootout 9 times. So normally they get to a shootout. Control for the Wild early, but the Leafs steal it. They set up. Matthews has a shot that's held. And then at 1:05, Nylander steals one and buries it. So Nylander gets that one. And your final score is 2-1 for the Leafs. They go to 36-15-8 with the win. For Minnesota, 32-21-6 with the overtime loss. Shots in this one, 9-6 Toronto in the first, 12-10 Minnesota in the second, 7-3 Minnesota in the third, 2-0 for Toronto, including the shot that matters. Final shots, 25-24 Minnesota. Power plays, Minnesota 0-1, Toronto 0-2. Hits, 42-27 Minnesota. Gustafsson, 22 saves on 24 shots. Samsonov, 24 saves on 25 shots. So Minnesota played their game and Toronto won it. So that's a big statement to me on this one. It wasn't the most exciting game because this is how Minnesota plays, but in the end, Toronto ends up getting the victory, and Minnesota will be happy with the point considering what happened in the other games from tonight. I think they'll be happy with the point. I mean the team, not necessarily the players. The players want to win. So, next up, the Montreal Canadiens in against the Philadelphia Flyers. So it was Allen versus Hart. Apparently the jersey I'm wearing for the previews now is a jinx. It just... Now, that's been a debate over the years, but the overall record this year's been pretty good. But lately, not so much. So, Lawton has an early chance that's held. The Flyers press at 2 minutes. The shots are 2 apiece, 6 minutes into this one. We get a power play for the Habs. They cycle. Hart saves, and it's cleared twice. So that's killed off. The shots at this point, though, are now 9-3 in favor of Montreal. Pressed by the Habs with 9 minutes left. Tippett was denied on a fast break. And then at 17:50, Savard. Rush chance for Savard. Yeah, he saw an opening and he took it, and he scores from Hoffman and Ulanen. And that was during a Flyers line change. So really smart play by Savard. He gets into the right spot and he buries it. And then in 19:55, 5 seconds left in the period, Tierney buries one. Pizzetta and Belzile with the assists. So Chris Tierney, his first game as a Hab, and he gets on the score sheet. It's 2-0 Montreal after 1. Second period, early press by the Habs. Some near misses for Montreal. Cates can't bury one in close. Lawton gets shaken up on a hit. We get a power play for the Habs due to a fight and an instigator penalty being called, and Suzuki scores on that power play. Matheson and Hoffman with the assists at 7 minutes and 12 seconds. The Habs then press with 7 minutes left, up by 3, not letting up. Sealer, shot blocks and clears. The Flyers press in the last minute. Ulanen has a rush chance, that's defended. And as the horn sounds, we get some booing from the Philadelphia faithful. Pretty unanimous booing from the Philadelphia faithful. Third period, it takes 8 seconds to break the goose egg. It's Tippett from Frost. They wired it on 3-on-2 actually on a turnover. The faceoff was won by Montreal. Flyers had some momentum. The crowd's getting loud. The shots are 4-0 for the Flyers at 5 minutes, and it's Ulanen with his first of the season from Barron and Drouin at 6:26. He tips that one in after a good press for Montreal. Flyers look to answer. Tippett has a chance that's held as the Flyers press, and then Anderson gets another one for Montreal from Harvey Pinard at 12-12. So Harvey Pinard now with, I think it's 11 points in his last 8 games. Not bad. So that makes it 5-1. Dvorak was then a post away from making it 6-1. Provorov would answer at 18:32 from D'Angelo and Frost, but your final score is 5-2 for Montreal. They go to 25-29-4 with the win. Philadelphia 23-27-10 with the loss. So Philadelphia, the we want games to matter side of things, that's slipping away now. Philadelphia not making the playoffs, and so I would expect there to be some pretty big selling by them at the deadline. So shots in this one, 14-6 Montreal in the first, 10-6 Philadelphia in the second, 11-10 Montreal in the third. Final shots, 31-26 for the Habs. Power plays, Montreal 1 for 2. Philadelphia didn't have one. Hits, 32-17 Philadelphia. Jake Allen, 24 saves on 26 shots. Hart saved 26 out of 31. So good game by Allen, some big saves. And in the end, Philadelphia loses another one. All right, last one on this board is Ottawa and Carolina. You know, the sad thing is Ottawa played a decent game, but they didn't really start on time. And this is an issue with starting on time, and especially against a Carolina team coming into this one, having won 4 in a row. So it's Talbot versus Ronta. Shots are 1 apiece at 2.5 minutes. No indication of how crazy things are going to get. Martinook, though, dangerous early, defensively, looking for steal after steal. It didn't matter which zone he was in. He wanted that puck. Now, Carolina does open the scoring. At 3:48, it's Burns with his 12th of the year from Aho and Svechnikov. So already, Ottawa's behind the 8 ball. Talbot then takes contact on that goal as well, but he stays in. They didn't challenge it for goalie interference because I think they knew that their own player caused that. Greg is rattled on a hit in the corner. That draws a bit of a crowd. Then Carolina scores again. It's Jarvis from Aho and Svechnikov at 6:29. So these guys are just passing all over the Sens. The Sens were stuck on 1 shot at this point. So really rough start for Ottawa. They're already down 2-0 against a team that is excellent defensively. Shots are up to 11-1, 8.5 minutes into this game. Power play for the Canes. Aggressive penalty kill, back-to-back clears. They do kill that off. Chabot then has a net drive that's held. Svechnikov blasts one wide from in close. 43.7 seconds left. The Sens get a power play. That rolls over into the second period, of course, where it becomes a 5-on-3. The Canes clear early. There's a short-handed Martinook chance that's denied. So they kill that off. The Sens get another power play. That leads to a short-handed rush by Stahl that kills some time on that power play. After the kill, the Canes get a turn. It becomes a 4-on-4. We're into a bit of a penalty parade to the box at this stage of the game. DeBrincat fires one wide. Everything's killed off there. Chatfield's then denied, so he continues to have a remarkable year for Carolina. Talbot holds on there. The shots, though, are 8-4 for Ottawa with 8.5 minutes left. Aho to Svechnikov near miss. And at the horn, everybody kind of hugs. That was kind of nice. You know, all the Canes and Sens players all kind of huggy. That's nice. So we go to the third period with it still 2-0 Carolina. Early jump for the Canes. Stepan's denied and close. They press. The shots are 3-2 for the Sens at 5.5 minutes. Kachuk to Giroux. That's blocked out. The Canes are breaking up passes by the Sens. Not really any easy entries either. Hamonic has a shot that's held. Sens draw a power play. Strong press by the Sens power play, and then PHI clears it out after some pretty big saves by Ronta. That was killed off. The shots at this point now 10-3 in favor of Ottawa, but they're still being shut out. Natchez scores from Svechnikov then at 12:34. Ottawa down by 3, desperate. They know they need points. Pull the goaltender with more than 4 minutes left. There's a near miss for Martinook for the empty net. Chabot has a shot that's held, and then Shea ends up basically putting this completely out of reach. From Aho at 16:30, your final score is 4-0. The Carolina Hurricanes, 39-10-8. Ridiculous record, 5 wins in a row for them. On the Ottawa side, they're 27-26-4, and combined with the other results tonight, their hopes are just really fading. So shots tonight, 17-7 Carolina in the first, 13-7 for Ottawa in the second, 12-6 Ottawa in the third. They actually outshoot Carolina 32-30 in this one. Power plays, Ottawa 0 for 5. That's the big one. Carolina 0 for 2. Hits 33-16 Ottawa. Talbot saves 26 out of 29. Ronta saves all 32 shots for his 18th career shutout. Kudos to him for that. And now I need to change boards. All right, LA and the Islanders. So this one was quick versus Sorokin. The Islanders press at 1.5 minutes. The shots are only 1 apiece at 5 minutes. Clearly the Kings were all about shot suppression tonight. Interesting because they're against the Islanders, a team also known for shot suppression over the last few years. Kavula has a rush chance, that's saved. Palmieri has a turnover chance, that was blocked. Quick covers with Horvat on the doorstep. It was Horvat that got the shot that led to that as well. Shots are 4-2 though for the Kings at 9.5 minutes. Few whistles because this is an Islanders game. So they went, I think it was a 7-minute period without a whistle in this. Strong defense by both, no easy entries. The Islanders press with 6.5 minutes left. Roy then had a rush chance, that was defended. Kopitar can't bury one in close. Fiala's denied, the Kings press. Strong game by Sorokin in this one. Honestly, this game would have been very lopsided if not for Sorokin's play in that first period. 39.2 seconds left. The Islanders go to the power play. So that rolls over into the second. The Kings finish the kill. Shots are 4-2 in favor of the Kings at 5.5 minutes. And 5 of the first 7 shots for the Islanders are from Matt Martin. Now, two things. It means Matt Martin's having a good game. It means the Islanders are not. They're not getting enough shots. And then Danault gets one that actually was batted out of the air by Romanov into his own net. Arvidsson and Anderson with the assists at 6:40. And then on a 2-on-1, Kaliev buries it. Kupari and Anderson Dolan with the assists at 8:05. Kings draw a power play. That's killed off. After that's done, Velarde has a one-timer that's kicked aside. They press. His next one-timer goes in. It's Gabe Velarde from Iafallo and Edler at 12:14. Nelson's then denied on a response attempt. Johnston with a wraparound. That's blocked out. The Islanders would end up drawing a power play, and they score on it. It's Dobson from Nelson and Lee at 16:34. 1:17 left. The Kings had a power play. That then becomes a 4-on-4. So all that rolls over into the third where everything's killed off. The Islanders had the lone shot on net 3.5 minutes in because, again, the Kings really shot suppression both ways in this one. Solid road period for LA at 6 minutes. I think the Islanders still just had the one shot. Pressed by the Islanders at 7 minutes. The Kings press back at the half. Doughty has a shot deflect wide. The shots are 4-3 for the Islanders with 7 minutes left. There was a crossbar for Velarde from a distance, and then on what would be the Islanders' final shot of the game, at 15:23, Pelech makes it a 1-goal game from Martin and Pulock. Although saying it's Pelech's goal, it went in off a King because he had to have an own goal both ways, so that's what happens. We get a goalie pull with 1 minute and 25 seconds left with 21.4 seconds left. The Kings ice it. The Islanders call a timeout. Whatever they discuss does not work. The Kings win this one 3-2. They go to 33-19-8 with the win. The Islanders 30-25-7, and with the other results from tonight, they're really up against it. They're still in the playoffs, but they're really up against it because teams that have played fewer games are right there. Shots in this one, 12-5 LA in the first, 12-8 LA in the second, 5-4 New York Islanders in the third. Really kind of a perfect road game for the LA Kings. Final shots, 28-18 for LA. Power plays, the Kings 0-2. The Islanders 1-for-3. Hits 18-11 in favor of the Islanders. Jonathan Quick, 16 saves on 18 shots. Sorokin saves 25 out of 28. So, again, big road win for the Kings as they're trying to catch and end up first in their division. And they've still got a shot at that, don't they? All right, last game. This one was over early. This Colorado and Jets game, this was over very early. So it's Georgiev versus Hellebuck, and at 19 seconds, McKinnon lets us know what kind of game we're in for. He scores from Nichushkin and Lehkonen. The Jets then get a power play. Dubois to Scheifele doesn't quite connect, but then they get the power play goal. It's Appleton from Schmidt and Wheeler at 3:12. That was tipped in on a good cycle. I believe that's point number 800 for Wheeler as a Jet as well. Jets then press for the lead. However, Rantanen on a turnover, he scores from Rodriguez at 4:32. The shots are 3-2 for the Avs at 5.5 minutes, meaning 3 of the first 5 shots have hit the net. And then on their 4th shot, they score. It is Comfer from Manson and Rantanen at 7:34. The Jets press at 8.5 minutes, but on their 5th shot, Byram wires it top corner from Cogliano and Newhook at 10:58. There's 2 things that are true here. One, the Jets are giving up a lot of really prime opportunities to the Colorado Avalanche. They're leading to goals. And 2, those miraculous saves we've seen from Hellebuck, they just weren't there tonight. Post for Nichushkin as the Avs press. 2:01 left. The Jets get a power play. That gets killed off. And there's some pushing at the horn because the Jets are kind of ticked off. Second period, the shots are 1-1 at 2 minutes. The Jets had a 4-on-2. That fizzled out. Newhook has a chance to deflect out. Rantanen nearly adds one. Connor misses wide on a net drive. Jets press at 5.5 minutes. The shots halfway through the period are 5-3 for the Jets, but Nieto scores at 10:59 from Comfer and Taves. Things then get pushy after a hold by Georgiev because, again, frustrated Jets in this one, right? Power play for the Avs. It's a 4-minute. It then becomes a 4-on-4 late in that 4-minute power play, and then it's all killed off. The Jets do press in the final minute, but they're down 5-1 after 2. Third period, Dillon has a shot that's held as the Jets press. The Jets get a power play. Connor has a shot that's blocked. That power play is killed off without a shot. McKinnon has a tip shot that's held. Jets draw another power play. That's killed off. 1 shot. Avs go to the power play. Lehkonen has a shot that's held. That's killed off. 2 shots. And the Avs press with 6 minutes left. And it really was just a matter of, so what's the final score going to be? And the answer was 5-1. The Avs took their foot off the gas a little bit in the third. Plus, Riddick made some nice saves because Riddick came in the third after Hellebuck gets the mercy pull after 2. So the Avs are for real, 32-19-5 now. They are right there. They could be first in their division by, I'd say, the end of next week. And for the Jets, 35-23-1 with the 5-1 loss. The Jets are in deep trouble. Dave Poulin at the end of this game said he believes in the team and he knows they can get it together and there's nothing to panic about. Oh, I would disagree with that. There's plenty to panic about right now with the Jets. They look lost. This is a team that looked lost by the end of this game and just, angry. Just angry. So the shots in this one, 11-6 Colorado in the first, 15-12 Colorado in the second, 10-9 Colorado in the third. They outshoot the Jets 36-27. Power plays, Colorado 0 for 3. The Jets 1 for 5. Outside of that one power play, they really didn't generate anything on the other ones. The hits 22-17 Winnipeg. Georgiev saves 26 out of 27. Lost in all this is Georgiev had a pretty good game. Hellebuck saves 21 out of 26, and then Riddick saved all 10 shots he faced in the third to close this one out. Now the Jets have the Islanders coming in to visit them on Sunday. That should be an interesting game. Both teams coming off of losses, both of them kind of playing for their playoff lives. The Islanders definitely are. The Jets are getting into that category of being a team that they've got to watch. That playoff line isn't that far behind them anymore. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.